All right, hello. I had a big audio issue with recording part two, and I still couldn't get it worked out, so I had to make some changes. Hopefully, you can hear me now, and we can go ahead and re record part two of how to do a simple 90-day strategic plan. Part one, if you will, is the market research video. I'm going to call that A since it's not really one in the series, but the second part, if you watched it already, you know that you're taking these big ideas and you're going to run them through a very quick SWOT analysis, looking at strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. We're going to narrow down the 3 primary projects we want to complete in a 90-day quarter, and then we're going to do strategic planning. Now, I did create for you this guide, this simple strategic planning guide. Tells you step by step what it is you need to do. It's not going to tell you necessarily how to do it because guess what? Everybody has different things that they enjoy or don't enjoy. Some people like spreadsheets, for example. If you need any support around that, of course, you can always reach out to me, DawnKKennedy.com. I also have a 4-hour strategic workshop intensive that runs a few times a year, and you can always look into that. Before we get started, if you find this valuable at the end, I will ask you to please subscribe. And if you have any comments for me, I'm here to make it better. Go ahead and leave me your comments. So again, I am Dawn Kennedy. This is the 3rd video, although it is titled Part 2 on how to do a strategic plan. So once you have finished running things through your SWOT, strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats, and did all the things, we now need to turn this idea that we have decided is like the first of 3. We're going to do no more than 3 in a 90-day period. We're going to turn this into something actionable. Just because we've kind of put out there, maybe we've done some projections, run some budgets and things, but at some point we have to put it into the business. Sometimes it's going to be a one-off plan, and it's something that's just going to happen for this one quarter. Like, for example, we're going to update our website or implement new branding or something. Other times it's going to be a new product launch, for example, or a new program or a new something that you're going to offer a product or service that's going to now be ongoing. And it's going to require you to think all the way through the customer journey on that as you're putting the plan in, as to give the right pieces to the right people, get it executed, get it in the marketplace, and get it tested for 90 days. So the very first thing I want you to do is, from that first project that you've decided, I want you to write down all of the tasks that will be required to get that project into your business, your marketplace, whatever it is. Sometimes it's going to be walking through the customer journey and saying, oh, okay, so we need to make sure we add that to the website, add that to the e-commerce store, make sure that we have an instruction guide, make sure that we include that on the flyers that we mail out to mailboxes, make sure that we go ahead and put this into the online payment portal, make sure that, so think through all the things, whatever it is. Maybe you need to order some raw materials. Maybe you need to do a test batch. Maybe you need to do a small test on it. Whatever it is that you're going to do. Maybe you're going to need to invest in some new equipment. That happens. Whatever it is that you need to do, put it on that list. Brainstorm it. It doesn't have to be perfect. And make sure that you try to include as much as you can. My dog is ripping up a box underneath, so hopefully that won't be too distracting, but it keeps her quiet. So then the next thing we're going to do is we're going to take that list. And when I say list, I mean, I legitimately mean, like, sometimes we just make a list. You can put it in a spreadsheet if you want to. You can do it however you want, but I just make a list. From that list, I'm then going to take that list and I'm going to rewrite it in the order of operations, starting from the end state, and I'm going to put it in order. We're going to flesh out what we call dependencies. Dependencies, though, are not anything like huge to worry about. Dependencies are what has to come first, next to get us to where we can do things. So, for example, let's say that you send out some of your stuff to be manufactured by someone else, and then they have a lead time, they manufacture, or they do your sheet metal work, or whatever it is, they send it back to you. And so if you're going to add something new to that, there may be a different lead time or a different thing. You may have to send drawings out first, second, third. I don't want to make this more complicated than it is. But what we're going to do is we're going to put that in the order that it would have to happen before you were able to get started on your thing. So depending on the industry that you're in and depending on what it is you're bringing to the world, there are going to be some dependencies where somebody or something has to happen before the next step. The easiest way that I can explain it is if you want to cook in your oven, the dependency is you turn the oven on. Otherwise, the food can be put in there all day long. It's not going to cook. So we're going to define those dependencies by putting them in order. So we're going to think through it like this. If I need to get this to the printer to have them make 200 flyers, I have to first have the flyer designed, which means I first have to send the ideas to the graphic designer, which means I need to let the graphic designer know this new project is coming, and I need to go ahead and give them some notice so they can build it into their schedule to be able to do this within the time frame that I need. I need to allow also, because this is new for us, maybe 2 or 3 revisions on that. So you can kind of see how we're thinking back. We're going to put this in order of operations, all the tasks. Some of them will happen concurrently. I understand that. Once we put them all in order, though, we're going to start from the last task, which is project goal. Launch the project. Project needs to be done today. And when you do that, we can do it a couple different ways. I use calendars most of the time. And at the very end, once all of my deadlines are finalized, I will put them into a particular project guide that I follow. I also, if it's an online project with multiple people, have some software like Asana for my own project, so I don't tend to do that. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to take and I'm going to calendar backwards, going through the list in order. So I'll start from the bottom. And the bottom says project launch or project completion. And let's say that I'm going to do that just for an example. We're going to say it's going to be June 30th, which is a Monday. We'll just play along with me. So we're going to say it's June 30th. So the final testing on, if you have an online portal, you added something to the store, whatever it is, the testing on that probably needs to be like the 26th. So then I would put in here the 26th, and I would note it on that list that it was the 26th. I would also note if there was any budget required. Then I would go, okay, so in order to get to the place where we're testing, we need to build that out. We need to add it to the website. We need to get the copy written and all that other stuff. And I would backward plan that, and I would say, okay, that's due by the 18th. And then I would look and I would go, am I assigning it to somebody other than me? Who needs it? And then I would go ahead and I would continue to backward plan, adding dates, if you know that there's some room there. And by the way, if you're somebody who is a project planner, this is probably something you've heard 100 million times. But there are a lot of people that do not plan this way. And they're just, I've listened to people before and I was like, well, when is that thing happening? Oh, I'm still waiting on so-and-so. Well, why are you waiting on so-and-so? Because I didn't tell them that I was going to be sending this over, right? So it turns out that there's kind of this issue with the backward planning that kind of causes all of this to fall apart anyway. So we're not going to do that. From there, we're going to backward plan, and we're going to go ahead and we're going to put all of the dates and all of the budgets in all the way back to that very first task. And once you do that, you can use whatever tool works for you. Again, it's in this 3-page guide. I will absolutely be linking this below. You should be able to download it. So then the next part, and this is the part where people are like, that makes a whole lot of sense, and okay, but they actually don't always do it. Once you have all of them in the calendar and you have the deadlines, I always, and I mean always, will make kind of a project sheet. There's a couple of different ones that are fantastic. I get these from Productive Flourishing. I think Charlie Gilkey, I will tag him. I'll put his stuff down here. I think they do an incredible job on productivity, and their templates are free. They're amazing. You can buy dated templates. I think they're fantastic. Charlie is ex-military. I've been reading and following him and lurking. He doesn't even know who I am, but I am going to link him below. I have a couple of different templates that I personally use and I have saved. I have a monthly momentum planner. I have a weekly planner, but then I also have this planner called an action item planner. It's Catcher, and if you were in the military, you know what action items are. takeaways, whatever you want to call them. But these are the tasks that come out of meetings and projects. And I'll just put them all together, and I'll put when all the items are due. And then I'll also put what it's related to as far as a project or a goal, because sometimes I have a couple different projects running at the same time, so I'll make sure to kind of capture all that there. Then the last thing is I am going to share the plan. I am going to maybe have my assistant go ahead, or you can put all of the dates and deadlines into the online company calendar. We're going to double, triple check the dates. We're going to make sure the right people have the things. I'm going to open up the company calendar, and I'm going to drop them in there. I'm going to put the person responsible in parentheses next to the description. If you are somebody who uses Asana, or you have a team like that, build yourself just an independent project plan, put your dependencies in there, assign tasks and roles, and this is going to just make it so much easier to make sure that the tasks are getting done to get this project where it needs to be, and that's into your business and generating revenue. The one thing about this as well is put it somewhere where you can see it. I want you to take 5 minutes on a Saturday or Sunday or Monday, whatever, and I just want you to go through and make sure the tasks are being done. And as they're moving through the calendar, and this is so important too, if you have a project that's going to start maybe 5 or 6 weeks from the time you plan it, just make sure you're tracking those deadlines and making sure they're okay. You want to make sure that you are seeing the deadlines and you are holding people accountable. And when you do is you keep it visible. You just want to make sure that you can see it. The final part in all this is a repeatable process. You can do it for all of your projects. Again, you can figure out if you like to do it in software, if you like to do it just by writing a list, if you like to do it in a planning group and have one person set deadlines. It's completely up to you. But strategic planning should not be wholly a corporate activity. It is a small business activity, and it keeps us doing the next thing next and generating that ROI, and we stop winging it in our business, and we're focused and intentional about building the next things that need to happen in the order that they work best for where we are now. So if you need any support with this, go ahead and also check out my strategic planning workshop. I do them a couple times a year. And again, reach out or ask questions, and I'm more than happy to support you with this. I find strategic planning is really a key difference in the successful business and the ones that aren't. About 70% of the businesses that do regular strategic planning do make that 5-year mark. All right, so again, if you found value in this, please subscribe to the channel. Go ahead and grab your 3-page strategic planning checklist, and I'll talk to you again real soon. Bye-bye.